Okay, this is the second video of our series. This is Stein on Stuttering. I'm Larry Stein, and today's topic is how I relearn to speak. This is really step one of what I did, and it may seem like a lot, but it's just brute force practice. So today we're going to go through that. If I had a goal of going from here to there with my speech, it may have got me maybe not quite halfway, not quite that much. It's certainly not the whole enchilada. This is just the start. So let's dive in. How did I improve my speech? How did I relearn to speak? I watched professional speakers and I began to mimic them. Anchors on TV, professional speakers, broadcasters, and I realized that they speak in phrases. And then I realized sometime later that they emphasize words towards the end of a phrase. For them, that helped them make their speech more compelling, more interesting to the listener. For me, I realized much later that that cleared out my air so that I could take a next full breath for the next phrase. And that was how I simplified all the, very complicated things they do, I'm sure. But I simplified it so I could remember into 3 steps: breathe, emphasize, phrase. That's how it started. And then I realized I had to do even more than that. So let me just give you the big picture on this. Stuttering is such a massive monolith, at least to me. I couldn't figure it out. I had been stuttering for 50 years and it consumed me, it dominated me. I had no idea how to approach this. So I just broke it down into little pieces. A phrase. I couldn't speak a sentence, I couldn't speak a thought, but I could speak one phrase. And so I broke it down into phrases, and I decided I was going to throw away how I was going to talk, and I'm going to speak phrase to phrase to phrase, just like it seemed like to me professional speakers do. And so I began doing this, and my speech improved. Not, again, all the way. It was an improvement. But this was the start. This was the foundation for everything I did. Let me just give you a little philosophy that I developed, and that is that the words don't matter. The sounds don't matter. We're all caught up on, anticipating stuttering. Oh no, I can't say that word. I can't say that sound. I had to break out of that. This was the start of that. I decided I'm not going to worry about words. I'm not going to worry about sounds. I'm going to focus on the phrase. I'm going to live phrase to phrase to phrase. And I began to really think about how can I get things moving, because I was still not speaking that well, and I realized that airflow is very key. So I not only had to breathe, I had to clear out my air so that I can take a pretty fresh, full breath. So I began to think about it, kind of mentally chart how I was breathing. And so I kind of charted it like this, and this may help you. So I would take a breath and talk, emphasize a word near the end of the phrase, use up my breath. So I had almost no breath left. Take a new breath, talk, emphasize a word near the end of the phrase, which cleared out my breath. Take another breath, talk, and on and on. Phrase to phrase to phrase, breath to breath to breath. Airflow. The other thing that really helped airflow was having a lot of expression in my speech. I was always a very flat speaker. Now I decided to add a lot of expression. A little bit akin to speaking, if you think about it, to singing. If you think about it, singing is different, but it has some similarities. With singing, you sing in musical phrases. You take a breath before the musical phrase. You emphasize some word usually at the end of the musical phrase. And you're very expressive. Now, of course, it's different, so you can't compare the two exactly, but the same concepts: breathing, expression, and ending a phrase going on to the next phrase. And if you think about it, it's almost as if the breathing is built into the music. Well, that's what we're doing here. We're building it into the breathing by emphasizing a word and by being really expressive. Now, for some people, their cultures, they don't have much expression in their speech. So it's going to be a little more of a challenge, but you can do it. And I would take delight in doing things counter to not only what I used to do, but also with whom I was with. So if people spoke really fast, I would speak even slower and break my phrases into small pieces. And even now, when I do professional speaking and I find myself nervous, I know I can't calm myself well enough to make myself less nervous, but I can do things to calm myself down by speaking in shorter phrases. I break my phrases down into 1, 2, 3, 4-word phrases when I start. I'm really expressive. And by breathing so much, because I have all these phrases, I calm down and I get into a rhythm and I get my confidence back. But the key with this is you do it all the time. People say, oh, how often should I do it? When should I do it? All the time, because the key is you want to make this automatic. You don't want to have to think about it. This is not a trick. It's not a technique. It's how you are going to speak all the time. If not, don't bother. Don't bother, because then it's a technique and a trick and it's not going to be of much value. This is what I had to come to. I had to speak like this all the time. Next week, we're going to do a demonstration of breathe emphasized phrase. So I hope you don't miss that. Thanks for listening. I hope this is helpful. And with that, maybe you can start practicing. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.